Hello everybody, how you guys doing? My name is Muhammad, and welcome to MMA and Medicine. So here we talk about a lot of things, well not really. A lot of things that have to do with two topics. MMA, M, M, A. Ha! Sorry, nah, mixed martial arts. We gonna talk about that all day. And medicine, yeah, if we ever get to that. But today, I'm here specifically to talk about the last fight that just took place this Saturday, the Dillashaw versus Sandhagen fight. Now, I know you guys are like, man, who the fuck this guy? Who do you think he is talking about these fights being this breakdown? Look, a lot of my friends wanted to know my opinion on what I thought, who I think won, and I'm gonna break down.
Camera action, talk shit for a reaction. You think that you the plug just because your
I'm gonna
plug
break
be
down
taxing. I'ma bring them racks
who I
in,
think
but
won
what the
and
fuck
why.
you gon' do?
So
Niggas
we're
tryna
gonna
play
get
the
right
victim,
into
but
it.
he just gon'
So
play
first of all,
you. I'm the king.
I'm gonna tell you
Niggas
guys
want
the
my
truth.
spot, so to definitely gon'
During the
swing.
Sandhagen and Dillashaw fight, when it was live, I fell asleep. And it had nothing to do with the action that was presented. It was a great night of fights. I just ate too much food that day and that night. I was just, whew, the itis caught up to me, man. I was out. But I know you didn't click on this video to hear about the itis. You clicked on the joint to hear about some fighting. First of all, I've seen this fight a total of 3 times. All right. And for what I can say, TJ Dillashaw looked really good. He was really able to stand and withstand a lot of punishment from Cory Sandhagen, you know, and his grappling looked really superior and elite, and it looked like a problem for other people. For his first fight in, what, 2 years, the man looked better than ever, and that's a testament to his grind, his cardio, his work ethic, like all that, man. His cardio is pretty up there, as always, as he showed. His grappling is there, and his striking is pretty impressive, I'm not gonna lie. He was really able to just, stand with Cory. And Cory is an elite striker, So the fact that he didn't get knocked out, hey, kudos to you, TJ. But other than that, we gotta be honest here. We gotta be honest. If we break down the fight round by round, in my opinion, the first one is a toss-up, but I'll give the first round to TJ. Second round, I'll give it to Cory. Third round, I'll also give it to Cory. The fourth round, I give to TJ. And the fifth round, which is very controversial, I would give to Cory. So, by that criteria, I would say that Cory Sandhagen won the fight. That's the short answer. So for some of you guys who don't have the patience to listen, hey, he won the fight. Cory won the fight. The judges got that decision wrong. But let me tell you why they might have selected TJ to win the fight. Although Cory was landing the more quote-unquote damage, because TJ was cut open, He was cut open and he was hurt pretty bad. But it wasn't consistent. It wasn't consistent. And here's the problem with these guys, these high-level strikers in MMA. They're really good at this, like, point style touch fighting, you know what I mean? Where they'll tag you pretty good, but when it comes to being relentless, when it comes to having the opportunity to finish, you got to be able to smell blood and capitalize off of that and move forward, you know what I mean? And Cory Sandhagen never really had an opportunity like that. Like, despite TJ getting pieced up and bleeding and all that, Cory Sandhagen never had an opportunity to finish the fight. And I don't care what anyone says. Like, you can go ahead and look at the film. Was there ever a chance where TJ was stunned, where he was rocked, where he was knocked down by Cory? I don't think so. The hardest shot that TJ had at 8 from Cory was that flying knee, which resulted in a takedown on TJ's part. So if I'm these UFC judges, I'm looking at that and I'm like, yeah, this guy's tagging him pretty good, but this other guy is, he's basically He's basically scrambling along with everything that was going on. TJ Dillashaw knew what he had to do to win that fight. He knew he had to use his grappling to make Cory what do you call it? Make Cory unable to use his arsenal of strikes. He knew he had that control time was very, very key in him winning the fight, or having the opportunity to win the fight. That control time. And a lot of people will see it as stalling, but hey, if the rules are broken, why would you try to fix them? TJ Dillashaw, had a good understanding of how the judges would see the fight, and he used that knowledge to apply. Yeah, he knew he wasn't gonna be able to strike with Cory Sandhagen. No way. So he brings it back into the grappling realm. But what I was surprised to see was TJ was not able to do the same. With the grappling and control that he had, he wasn't really able to capitalize. There wasn't any really submission. There was no submission attempt on TJ's part, and there was no ground and pound. And we know TJ's relentless with his pressure and his striking, and like especially his ground strike. He's like very elite. This is a guy who's a finisher. But Cory was doing a really good job flowing on bottom, being very creative with his jiu-jitsu, with his grappling, fighting off of his back. These are all things that made TJ even a little bit uncomfortable on the ground with him. Even though there was no threats from Cory of submissions or anything. I mean, there was a pretty slight, I guess you want to say, like heel hook attempt, but we're not really counting any of that stuff, man. He was just on a leg. You know what I mean? But truly, that's how I think TJ could have won the fight, because of his control. He was able to neutralize a lot of Cory's striking offense with his grappling, and use his grappling as like defense. Honestly, it was kind of smart on his part. Now, that is how I see the judges could have. The only way I see the judges could have gave him the fight. This man was outstruck. I think it was 119-59. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just, like I said, with that point fighting style, you're going to tag people. Of course, you're going to do damage. You can even cause blood. But if you don't give any opportunity where you you're still not only in the judge's mind, but the viewer's mind, that you could have finished that fight, it's hard. It's hard to give you the nod, Cory. And the thing I like about Cory is he seemed like he understands that very well. He's not taking it like, oh, the judges are stupid, man. They fucked up the decision. Nah. You know what I mean? He knows he could have done better. He knows he could have done some things to really put away that fight. And those are things he's going to work on. And honestly, next time, I think he's knocking out. It doesn't matter who he goes against. Make it be TJ Dillashaw again. He's knocking him out. Aljamain Sterling in a rematch. I got Cory Sandhagen knocking him out. Because if you're able, here's how I see it, and here's why I say that. If you're able to go 5 rounds with TJ Dillashaw, one of the toughest guys, one of the best bantamweights ever, right? I don't care. Obviously, yeah, 2 years off for that bullshit, but who cares, right? He took those 2 years off, and he looked great. He looked better than he ever was. But Cory looked even better, all right? Cory looked even better. And I bring this to your attention to let you know that this is not, Cory Sandhagen is not done. This loss is not going to derail his trajectory, okay? He's going to come back and kill somebody, whoever they put him against. Whether it be like any of these guys. And bantamweight right now is at a very, very, very dangerous position, because there's a lot of guys who can go out there and get the job done. But Cory is on another level besides all of them. And he's not the best grappler, you know what I mean? But when it comes to mixing it all up, he gives people a lot of problems. First of all, his size, he's 5'11", he with that reach span, and he knows how to use it. This is a big bantamweight who knows how to use his size, and he's going into every single fight with a kill or be killed mentality. He's not going in there looking for decisions. And with a fight like a guy like TJ Dillashaw, who also had that same mentality, you know what I mean? Well, I can't really say that. Depending on his last performance, can't really say he had that killer be killed mentality. You know what I mean? But he showed a lot of toughness, a lot of grit, and a lot of resilience. I'll definitely say that. You know. But what I'm saying is, Cory learned first. You know how they always say, these UFC fighters are always saying, you can't ever leave it to the judges, man. You can't leave it to the judges. Cory learned that firsthand yesterday. You can't leave it to the... No, not yesterday. What am I saying? He learned it first night, Saturday night. You can't leave things in the hand of the judges. And what that does, it either makes fighters or it breaks them. It makes them, like you see with Jorge Masvidal. He had that switch where he realized, hey, all these guys I lost to by decision. What if I just knocked them out? And we all saw how Jorge Masvidal's legend grew even more further after that. He started being a lot more aggressive in his output, you know? And I could see a similar thing like that happening for Cory Sandhagen, you know? And as for Dillashaw, this win allows him to get closer to a title. Now, honestly, Peter Yan is killing Aljamain Sterling. It's not even close. I never thought that Aljo could beat Peter Yan, even before. A couple of my friends were trying to convince me otherwise, but when I see Peter Yan, I truly see greatness. And I'm not even trying to just say it like, oh, yeah, he's topping him. No. Peter Yan is great. There's no position in MMA that you can get him and you can seriously put him in trouble. You know, the dude is strong, explosive, and he has an extraordinary striking knowledge. Like, he doesn't ever put himself in bad positions, ever. You know, like, I feel like a fight is won and lost off of mistakes. You know what I mean? Peter Yan doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't. Every single movement he's doing is to finish you. It might not be in the first round, in the second round, the third. He's going to finish you. He's going to find a way to break you. Whether it be with the ground and pound or whether it be just him knocking you out cold. He doesn't mind. That is the difference between Peter Yan and basically all of these bantamweights. Honestly, they don't really have that true killer mentality like Peter Yan. I mean, all these guys do. These guys are all world class, but Peter Yan really exemplifies it the best, I would say. He's cold. He's nonchalant. When he goes, he doesn't even get excited in the octagon. He's just ready. You don't see any emotion on his face the whole time. But it's not about him. Personally, here's what I think the UFC should do with this result. I say, well, let's say, you know, Peter Yan beats Aljo, which most likely will happen. If not, that would be crazy. Good for Aljo. He must have made some serious adjustments. But Peter Yan goes ahead and beats Aljo in October 30th. I'm pretty sure that's when they said the next fight's going to be. Peter Yan goes ahead and wins that fight. Let's put him versus TJ Dillashaw. And then we'll go ahead and run back that Cory Sandhagen and Aljamain Sterling fight. Because Cory's hungry. He needs to go against the top of the division or get a title shot. He needs to be working towards next in line, you know. But overall, I think it was a very competitive fight. It was a very close fight. And that's what people need to understand. Although Cory did outstrike TJ significantly, he didn't knock him out. He got hurt, he got cut, but Nate Diaz gets cut every fight, and he's always in the fight until the fifth round. So that doesn't really mean much. Anybody can get cut and keep going. You know what I mean? TJ had his things, but he kept going, and that's what won him the fight. He kept going, and he picked his spots. It is what it is. Yeah, there's not many ways to beat a guy like Cory Sandhagen when you're giving up so many things, you know. Grappling, it seems like the only way to beat him, and from what I've seen. The only time I've really seen him lose is Aljo after he choked him out in this fight against TJ Dillashaw, where TJ Dillashaw was able to control him for a little bit on the ground. That's the only way he can lose. You can't strike with that man. You cannot strike with that man, you know. TJ, shout out to you. Congrats on the win. You did what you had to. Cory, keep your head up. A championship opportunity is coming your way. This is MMA and Medicine.